Well, hello everyone. This is Carrie back with Homeschool Coffee Break, where we encourage moms and give them confidence to know that they are doing enough in their homeschool. Today, excuse me, as soon as that live button went on, something came up in my throat, and so coffee and all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, um, this is the beginning of a brand new series, and I am so excited to be able to share with you today. And I just hope that it will be encouragement to you. If, as I record this, it is almost February. And in February, one of the biggest things that we tend to do is think about love, because Valentine's Day is right there. And so I'm going to spend this week and the next 2 weeks talking about love, God's love. How do we encourage our kids in love? Because I truly believe teaching our kids how to love well is the most important real life skill around. Now, for those of you that haven't been here for a while, I will tell you that February is a fun month in our Facebook group. At the end of February, we will be hosting the Life Skills Leadership Summit. Oh, I'm so excited. We have 26 speakers, probably 40 or 50 sessions for you to attend. You can actually come for free. But right now you need to do something, because first of all, I believe love is the most important life skill. We'll be talking about other types of life skills in the summit, but go ahead and sign up for the wait list, because then you'll know everything that's going on, and you'll know exactly when to sign up and how to get lifetime access and how to get our VIP bundle. I don't know how much that's worth, $200 or $300, how to get our swag bag, and then get all the encouragement you need to gain confidence so that you finish strong the rest of the year. Love truly is an important life skill that we need to master. Moms, we need to master it. Our kids also need to master it. So, whether you're listening to the live or a replay, leave a comment and let me know if you've ever taught your kids about love, or what do your kids think about love, or what are your thoughts? Is this like totally impossible, or is it something that we can actually teach our kids to do? You see, in Colossians 3:12 through 15, Paul writes to the Colossian believers, and he says this: since God chose you to be the holy people he loves, so he loves us, you must clothe yourselves with tenderhearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Make allowance for, so we're putting on a lot of love characteristics right there: mercy, grace, patience, all sorts of things. He also tells them, make allowances for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. There's another big life skill: forgiveness. We're not going to talk about that right now. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Here's the clicker. Above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. And let the peace that comes from Christ rule in your hearts, for as members of one body, you are called to live in peace and always be thankful. What is he saying? The most important thing that you can clothe yourself with each day is what? Love. Now, I talk about the armor of God. I still believe you need to do that, because we are in a battle against the enemy. The enemy is not your husband, not your kids, not your mother-in-law, not the person down the street that's giving you problems. Your enemy is Satan and the demons and the world and your flesh. You're fighting against an enemy. So we do need to put our armor of God on every day. But I will challenge you from now until Valentine's Day that maybe every day you pray to put on love. All right? Because he says, clothe yourselves with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. So what is the result of love? The result of love is living in peace. Don't we want to live in peace? A lot of y'all have told me, it is too crazy at my house, or I'm overwhelmed. When we love others, then we receive God's peace also, because that's what will rule in our hearts when we are thinking of others. And we get along with people because we're loving others. So over the next few weeks, we're going to talk about love, and we're going to focus on 1 Corinthians 13. Today we're going to talk about the first three verses. Next week, or maybe even during the week, maybe on February 1st, I haven't decided, but we will dive in a little bit more into each of the character qualities about love. So let me read to you. We're going to read sections of 1 Corinthians 13, the first few verses, and then try to draw some practical helps for you. If I could speak all the languages of the earth and of angels, but I didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. All right, let's talk to mom first. Maybe you don't know all the languages, but maybe you're like, well, I teach Bible study, so I'm doing okay. Or maybe you're thinking, hey, I am homeschooling my kids and I speak all the right words to be able to homeschool them and educate them. But if we don't love, it's worth nothing. Just like teaching a Bible study is worth nothing if you're not loving others. Or maybe you're like, hey, I share Jesus with my neighbor down the street. But if you don't love your neighbor down the street, it's worth nothing. He says it's a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. Think about a noisy gong. This is a great illustration for your kids. So let's talk about it. Think about a symphony. If you get there early, real early, they're tuning up their instruments and it does not sound good. But when they all come together for the performance, it sounds gorgeous. That's what love does. We become gorgeous to those around us when we put on love every day. You can do this with your kids. There's two things you could do. You could think of things and put something in the comments. I would love to know, how could you substitute this for kids? If I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels but didn't love, what would kids want to be able to do? Or what would your kids? Leave us a comment. Let's hear. So what happens if we could do all these great things but we don't love? We're just a noisy gong and a clanging cymbal. If you can get a cymbal, make that loud noise and you just want to go, oh, be quiet. Or think about this. Go get one of your kids' musical instrument, the kids' instruments. You know, a 2-year-old playing a musical instrument does not sound very good. That is what you sound like. That is what you look like. And you are when you don't love. All right, let's move on to the next one. If I had the gift of prophecy and I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains but didn't love others, I would be nothing. So first we're a noisy gong and people don't even want to be around us. Now he really does say it's worth nothing. So maybe you know all the right verses and all the theology and you got it all figured out, but you don't love, it's worth nothing. Maybe you believe God will heal your marriage or your prodigal child, but if you don't love, it's really worth nothing. Or maybe you know all the attributes of God and you believe all the attributes of God, but if you don't love, it's worth nothing. We can have a lot of head knowledge. We can have a lot of faith, because he says, even if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but I didn't love, it's worth nothing. So think about that. What is it that your kids feel like they know so much about, or maybe they believe about God, and maybe they've learned all the Awana verses? Well, it doesn't really matter if they are not loving others. These are great verses that have some real practical, some object lessons that you could actually show your kids as well. And then the last part we're going to cover today, if I gave everything I have to the poor and sacrificed my body, I could boast about it, but if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. So let's bring it down to today. Maybe you sacrifice your own activities for the good of your kids. That's a good thing to do, but if you're not loving, you may love your kids, but if you're not loving the world around us and the people around you, then it's worth nothing. Maybe you serve faithfully in the nursery, or maybe you serve faithfully in Awanas. But if you're not loving others, it's worth nothing. You are just racking up a bunch of time in some volunteer work. You have got to clothe yourself with love. Maybe you take your kids or your family on a mission trip. We did that many times with our kids. Took them down deep into Mexico several times. And so that may be something, maybe you do something like that. and you're sharing Jesus and you're doing good things. You're sharing the gospel, the good news of Jesus. But if you don't love, it is worth, you've gained nothing in doing this. Maybe you sponsor a compassion child, or I think it's World Vision, the other group, and you write letters to them regularly. But if you don't love, it is worth nothing. Now, these are actual practical things your kids are probably involved in. What is it that they are involved in? If you have teenagers, they're probably volunteering somewhere, maybe at your church. What are things that your kids are actually doing? And you can point out and say, you know what? If you're not loving your brother and sister, it really doesn't matter to God. God wants us to put on love. And the best result of putting on love is peace within ourselves, he says. Let the peace that comes rule in your hearts, so it's within us, and members of one body, you are called to live in peace. So when we love others, we can live in peace as well. Because when we love others, we'll talk about one of the attributes of love is to not be selfish. You know, love is not selfish, and so we'll talk about that later over the next few weeks. So just some really good ideas to preface before we dive into the character qualities of what love is. Now, if you have comments about any of these, or you have good examples about how we could put this into practice, please leave a comment wherever you are listening. Even if you're listening on the podcast, leave a comment, okay? And you can leave that there as well. So, this is the first. I'll be popping in and we'll be talking about other ways that we can teach our kids how to love others. This is the foundation. The foundation is knowing in our head that we need to put love on. So I would challenge you every day, maybe even in February, but at least till Valentine's, every day at breakfast, pray for your family to be clothed in love. That we will put on love, and we will be focused on that for the next few weeks. All right? I believe that if you sincerely pray that, God is going to honor that as well. So remember, this is part of our life skills. Loving others is part of life skills. And so if you would like a free ticket, go ahead and sign up for the wait list. The link is here. It's at Life Skills Leadership Summit. LifeSkillsLeadershipSummit.com. You can go there right now and sign up. Isn't that awesome? And get on the wait list. Registration opens on February 6th. And then we're going to have all sorts of goodies throughout the whole month of February. So if you're listening to this during February, you're going to be able to dive in and get lots of fun things as well. I will tell you too, next week on Tuesday night, we have a Facebook party. And it is all about Valentine's Day and love. And so I hope that you can join us for that. That is here in the Facebook group. If you're listening somewhere else, I will put that in the description as well so that you can go ahead and RSVP for that. We will have lots of freebies for you. We have some giveaways. We have all sorts of fun things for you to do. So, in closing, just remember, God calls us and says, above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony, and let that peace that comes from Christ rule in our hearts. All right, I will see y'all next time. I'm Carrie Beck with Homeschool Coffee Break.